Okay guys, so we're gonna start sitting on the floor and do some exercises in the seated position. If you do have a resistance band, I'm using one that's a pretty light resistance for these exercises, but you could use any amount as you're gonna be pulling it, so you can adjust the resistance as you feel comfortable. But all the exercises that we are going to do, you can also do without a resistance band. I just find that this is a really nice way to really feel the muscles in your feet working, okay? So I'm going to start just to warm up our ankles. We're going to put the band, I'm actually going to do these things sideways so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put the band around the balls of my feet, trying to cover the toes and as much surface area of the foot as possible, okay? Now in this position, I'm going to pull and I'm going to flex my feet as much as I possibly can, okay? So I'm already getting a nice stretch in the calf muscles because all of these lower leg muscles are connected, and part of having strong, flexible feet is having strong, flexible ankles and strong, flexible calves. So all of those parts are important. So to warm up, we're not going to point our feet fully. I'm just going to extend from the ankle, and my toes are nice and open, and I'm going to bring the feet back, the toes back toward me, and extend the ankle, come back, ankle, out and in. So I'm going to do it without the band just so you can see what I'm doing. Out and out, because an important part of learning how to use your feet correctly so that you're not holding tension is knowing that when I point my foot, I'm actually pointing as much as I can from the ankle, and the toes don't want to curl and grip, they actually want to lengthen, but we'll get into that. So all I'm doing is out, in, extending the ankle and flexing the ankle. So let's do that a few more times. Out, in, out, keeping the toes nice and open. Out, in, okay? Now, we're gonna do the same thing 1 foot at a time. It's going to be more intense on 1 foot. You're always gonna have more flexibility on one side, of course, and the other, and out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. And let's do the other side. Again, you don't need a resistance band, but I do enjoy the feeling. We go. Out, in, oops. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, and okay. Now we are going to go all the way to point the feet. So as I explained before, when I point my foot, I first want to extend the ankle fully. As you can see, my toes are all spread out at this point. And then from there, to complete the line, I actually want to try to extend my toes forward. I don't want to curl them underneath because that's going to create a significant amount of tension in your foot. And as you can see, it actually doesn't elongate the line, it contracts the line, it curves it, okay? If we're trying to create curve in any part of our foot, it'll be in the arch and the ankle, but not in the toes, okay? So we're lengthening the toes so that we can lengthen the line of our foot, and then also feel it more in the top of my foot than I do in the bottom. The bottom, if you feel the pointing in the bottom, most of the time it's because we're kind of clenching the toes, okay? So we're gonna do this going all the way through to the toes. Get this band set up, okay? It's not even. Okay? All the way through the toes, lengthening. We go first the ankle, then the toes, and come back. Ankle, toes, and ankle, toes, and ankle. Let's do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, same thing, 1 foot at a time. There was a point in time when I did these exercises every single day. I should get back to that. Okay, so let's try it again. 1 foot at a time. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving slow is also going to be good. 5. Don't try and rush. You want to feel all the articulations in your feet. 6. Adjust the band if you need to. 7. 8. Other side. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now we're going to work on the lateral movement of the ankle because one of the things that makes a pointed foot look so pretty actually is something we call a wing, which is that the ankle actually pushes, how do I say this? That I'm actually pushing outward toward my pinky toe with my foot so that I get this kind of line with my ankle, okay? When a foot is pointed and it's straight, it's still pretty, but one of the things that seasoned dancers know to do is actually allow the ankle to kind of come in and the foot goes out, and it just gives you that little extra touch. That very pretty kind of balletic line, okay? So in order to work our ankles so that they are able to create that line, we need to do some lateral movement. So, and again, I can do this movement without the band. It would just be, we're gonna do 1 at a time, going out, 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 out. And as you can see, I'm not moving my leg from my hip, and I'm not moving my leg from my knee. I'm trying to keep my leg right in line and just push the foot out from the ankle. And I'm not trying to go in also, I'm trying to come back into neutral, because when we're dancing, we don't often use this position coming in. Actually, that's something we try to avoid. So I'm trying to just do the out and back to neutral so that I don't get confused, because this tends to be much easier for our ankle. As you can see, I actually have a greater range of motion in that direction. So I do want to try to just do that smaller range of motion, which is more difficult. So again, you can do that without the band. If you're using the band, you're going to take it with the hand, the opposite hand of the foot that we're working on, and try and stretch it away from the direction you're going with your foot. So I'm going out and out, 3, and again, my foot's flexed as I do this, 5, 6, 7, 8, let's do 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, and that'll get your outside of your calf muscle going real nice. Okay, let's do the other side. Kind of difficult position to get into with the arms, but you get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so moving on, an exercise that we're going to do without the band. I'm going to actually lay on my back, and this is an exercise that I use all the time that my ballet teacher gave me, which is to spell or write the alphabet with your feet. This is an excellent warm-up that'll get your ankles nice and warm before you dance, but it also is very good for coordination and flexibility in the ankles. So we're gonna just lay down on our backs, and with our feet we're gonna go through the alphabet. B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm doing capitals. I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And again, you want to make sure when you do this that you are doing it just from the ankle and not letting the whole leg get involved. And I don't know about you, but going through the alphabet around V, it starts to really burn. And so that's how you know it's working. Okay, so now we're gonna do some other exercises that we're gonna do standing up. Okay, so we're gonna start our standing exercises with working on some forced arch movements. When I say forced arch, what I mean is I'm pressing into the ball of my foot over the big toe, that's where the largest amount of pressure is, and pushing my heel up as high as it will go. I'm going to start by just doing this, alternating feet. And I'm not just kind of lightly bending the knees and lifting the ankle. What I'm doing in this exercise, because it's geared toward increasing our flexibility and our strength in our ankles and our feet, I'm really pressing as far as I can into that big toe and lifting the heel as high as I can. And then when I switch, I go to the other leg and switch, 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 switch. And if you can come up to 2 toes in the middle without lowering this heel. So my heel's up as high as it's gonna go, and I wanna try and bring the other heel up to meet it, and then press. So that I'm also working on pressing up further into my releve, instead of having my heel nice and high here, and then when I come into releve, bringing that heel down, which is what a lot of people tend to do, try and bring the other heel up to meet this one's highest point. So I go, and 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll say one other thing about releve. Just like when we are pointing our foot, we want to keep our toes spread out as much as possible. Yes, the weight is over the joint between the big toe and the ball of the foot, but I want to avoid kind of crunching my toes on the ground and holding any tension in the toes. The toes should be spread out, and that's actually something that's going to give us much more stability, okay? So now we're gonna do some forced arch exercises using something to help us balance, because this video isn't about balance, it is about increasing flexibility in the feet, and so I don't want to take the focus away from that by making you be off balance. Here I'm going to go up as high as I can onto my toes, and what I'm trying to do is maintain keeping my ankles as close together as possible as I do this. Now from here, highest possible point. Like the idea is that if you had enough strength, which I don't personally, but if you had enough strength, you could actually press up onto the point of your big toe. So that's the intention. That's how high we're trying to go onto our releve, keeping the ankles together. From here, I'm going to try and lift the heels even more and bend the knees to press into the feet, and you will feel this in the big toe ball of the foot area, and then we'll come down and straighten. And again, lift, bend, and try and lift the heels even higher, bring the heels down, and straighten the knees. Up as high as you can go, bend, heels down, and one more time, up, bend, really try and feel it in that foot, and come down. Now we're going to go in the other direction, so we're going to bend our knees, lift onto the toes as high as we can, keeping those heels lifted as high as we can. We're going to press up and come down. Bend, lift as high as you can. Here's the important part. Keeping the heels lifted. Don't let them come down as you straighten your knees. And drop the heels. And again. Bend, lift, and down. Last time. Bend, lift, and come down. Okay, so as I've mentioned, keeping the toes nice and open and flexible is very important in foot strength and flexibility. So we're going to do some exercises for the toes. So standing with the feet together, we're going to lift the toes up off the ground, just the toes, spread them as far apart as possible, and then let them come back down onto the floor. And again, lift the toes up, spread them out, trying to create spaces in all the toes, and bring them back down onto the floor, still spread. Lift, and come down, lift, and come down, okay? You can do that more times if you need to. I have good toe mobility because I use my toes so much, but I found that for a lot of people, their toes tend to be crunched up into a cluster a lot of times, and so that lifting and spreading might be challenging for you, in which case I do encourage you to do that a few more times and do it on a daily basis, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to extend the ankle like we did in the very first exercise, and my toes are spread on the floor. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to, from the spread position, act as if I'm trying to pull like a piece of fabric up off the ground. Pull, 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 keeping the ankle in that extended position. So I'm really just using the toes on the ground to create this feeling. And let's switch feet. I'm here and I pull, 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 pull. Just the toes. Pull, pull. I can hear my little toesies brushing against the floor. Pull. Okay, so the last exercise that we're going to do for today's video is another one on the floor. All I'm going to do is straighten my legs, point my feet. Now that they're all warmed up and I've stretched out my toes and my ankles and my arches, point my feet as far as I can, and then I'm going to lean forward and just put some pressure. And even though the toes are going forward, I'm not going to try and curl the toes under. I'm going to put the pressure down toward the floor, with the idea being that I'm going to help stretch this front part of my ankle out to create a greater appearance of an arch. Okay, so I'm here and I'm just going to press, and you should feel that really nice stretch. Sometimes what I like to do is kind of knead through, really getting all those joints nice and stretched out. Try to make sure that your feet and your legs aren't falling open as you do this, but that again, we're trying to keep those ankle bones together as we knead. Press, press, and then give it one long press and release. Okay? So I hope that you enjoyed these exercises and that you found them helpful for increasing your foot flexibility. Like I said, when I was in college and high school, I did do these exercises on a daily basis, and now I probably do them once or twice a week. But if you are training to compete, or you just want to improve your leg lines and your foot lines, these are great things to do on a consistent basis because that is what these exercises are for. And apart from that, anytime that we're trying to strengthen just one part of our body, inevitably other muscles are going to be involved. So you are strengthening your leg muscles, you are stretching your leg muscles as well without even thinking about it, so it has that advantage for you as well.
Thanks so much for joining me for today's lesson. Leave a comment below and let me know how you did. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications for my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Dance Doctor Online. Until next time, keep dancing.